Welcome to the Gelatinous Noobs, everybody. Hey. How are you doing? It is Wednesday before Thanksgiving. If you celebrate and you're a U.S. resident, happy Thanksgiving. If you're not, thanks for tuning in.
And to England,
we appreciate it. It
was a good fight.
For the man.
How's our tea?
With that, we are going to be jumping right into it. We have just a couple of very short announcements. Please help us get to 75 followers.
75.
We are so close. We're going to get our Discord going. Woo. Thank you so much to all of you who are liked, subscribed, following our Twitch and YouTube and all of that jazz, our Twitter, our X, or TikToks. And I'm old. I don't do the technologies anymore.
We haven't gotten any new followers. I blame Tuesday's game.
We got two.
It's definitely Tuesday's
anyway,
game.
Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Also, thank you to White Toe Trading Co. If you are interested in purchasing some lovely glassware and or some interesting apparel, check out whitetoetradingco.com or their Etsy page. You can use the promo code Gelatinous Noobs for 10% off on either of those sites. Thanks to our friends over there. We really do appreciate it, and hopefully some of our viewers become your customers, and some of your customers become our viewers. With that,
I think you really missed a good opportunity with the naming of this group.
Well,
Gelatinous Noobs one letter could have really taken off.
I know. Could have had a whole new follower base.
That's actually one of the books in my...
Michael did it! He said the thing!
It's Wheel of Fortune champion right there.
When last we left off the Theran adventures, our party had re-adjourned at their crashed airship after a long day of exploring the Shrine of Zeral, collecting salvage materials from the Gilded Crane airship, seeing their new companions, working on their ship and repairs, and deciding the best way to protect these individuals as they worked on the ship for the next 3 days. However, they didn't really have much time to prepare at all, as that evening, the party was attacked. Arrows were let loose. Some individuals were taken out by Elm and Raya. An elvish child. A young elvish woman. This is unexpected. A human child who introduced herself as Wendy said that she would leave the party alone, that she would allow the work to continue and you all to leave peacefully in exchange for a compass. To much of the party's surprise, they didn't know what this meant, but for Zari and Loot, they knew exactly what this was.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do, because we know everything.
Wendy, having some sort of psychic ability to connect into the minds and communicate with all of you individually, probed and prodded, eventually reaching Yenna, giving this offer. Compass for free passage out of here. Yenna, bereft with grief of the loss of her son and having lost many close friends over the past few days and weeks, didn't want to risk losing any more. Taking the compass from Loot, gave it willingly over to Wendy. True to her word, Wendy and these other assailants left. The party adjourned to the war room, trying to figure out and just process everything that had happened. What are they going to do? Where are they going to go? How are they going to handle this? Zari very clearly stating that Poetry's in danger, and there's still a chance to save her, and if there's a possibility, she wants to make every effort to do it. Yenna getting some very crucial and important information on her son's killer. A bugbear from a culture long thought extinct. A lead. Something firm and solid. Loot wanting to fulfill a promise that you all made to some of these rescued survivors, Holgan as well as Axel, being returned to Idun, the City of Splendor, where a pretty splendid reward awaits for you. Somebody stop George from licking the floor.
I tried. He just moved his head over that way.
He is determined. He's a good boy.
Slideshow is Tuesday, if you wanna-
The slideshow is Tuesday.
Tuesday characters.
That's weird because I've got. Well, I'm just going to do that. There you go. Goodbye. Gelatinous Noobs,
Yeah,
everybody.
fuck those Tuesday characters, am I right?
Yep.
I thought so anyway.
With that, the party had a heated discussion, trying to figure out where do they go? What do they do? Tensions got high. It was at this very moment that a sudden, surprising knock. An uninvited guest.
You don't remember?
Somebody who introduced themselves as the Procurer, a strange fey folk, offering 5 deals to the party, to which everybody, for the most part, refused, saying, this is too dangerous a situation. But a couple of you, namely Elm, thinking this is too good of an opportunity to truly pass up. If this individual says that they can collect the things that they are offering to collect, maybe it's worth taking. But reluctantly, with the group all there, agreed. No. Party needed a moment to process this individually. You all adjourned to your rooms to get some well-needed rest after a very long, emotionally and physically draining day. However, Elm stayed awake, sneaking over to Lute's room, asking for maybe a little insight. Both of them returned to the war room, a room that's very well, words are kept private.
George.
Secluded.
Elm asked, what do you think, Lute? I want to take a deal. Lute, without condemning or condoning, said, you do you. Elm reached out to the Procurer.
Not only that,
Luke
he
reached out.
called him.
I did, yeah.
He's like, Luke,
I was
it's
like,
fine.
oh,
Luke.
you
You
want
won't
to...
do it.
He went,
Lute,
okay.
Lute called out.
He said, that's a great idea.
Luke called out, and the Procurer answered.
It was that easy.
The Procurer was there,
My job here is done.
very eager and very happy to make a deal, enticing Elm a trade for poetry, retrieve her from her captivity, in exchange for a castle. Castle that the parties assumes to maybe be arm's hold, but they don't really own it. But who the Procurer says that you all have inherited. A deal was struck and accepted. We join now. As the repairs are going on, scenes of confusion and exhaustion are happening with our party. We pick up in that very moment. Luke, Elm, you see the Procurer disappear after making this pact.
Oh, I'm so confused and exhausted.
Me 24/7.
We know that poetry's back, right? Because last time she was in the room with you.
You don't know concretely. Okay. You know that a deal has been made. You feel the puncture in those vines along those black thorned vines around your forearm. But concretely, no. That's really all that you know.
That's fair.
What do you two do?
Well, do you think it worked?
I guess there's only one way to find out.
Which would be?
You want to go check on Zari?
Do I want to? Like, solely by myself?
I mean, I can come with you, but...
I'd prefer it.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. We walk up to Zari's room, and I'll put an ear up to the door.
Zari, in this moment, you've already... No,
No?
this was after that. Because you had returned to your room. I remember this from last week's VOD.
Yeah, I was packing my bag and then...
And that's when she appeared in your room.
Okay.
You're packing your things and you see her. You have this interaction with her. She's already collapsed, passed out from just sheer exhaustion. You've just laid her down when you sense with your 27 passive perception. Just
I kind of bang my head on the door a little bit.
Just the very subtle shadows underneath the door.
I'm like, oh, shh, be quiet. I'm listening.
You don't hear their approach, but you do see the shadows underneath the door.
Okay.
I don't hear nothing.
I go up to the door and I just kind of like slip out. Don't open it all the way.
Is it a push or a pull?
It is.
Hits my head. Ah!
It is.
Super
It is a pull.
Okay. Nope, it's a push.
You try
are
to
you
push
leaving
and it hits the whatever. Right. You're right against it.
She opens the door and I fall. My contact. Where's my contact?
What's contact?
I don't know.
Where's Elm's room compared to her room?
A couple down.
As-
Yours is directly across from Mariah's, and then yours is like I think 2 or 3 down.
As you're saying the whole like, Elm, shut up, shush, I'm trying to listen here. I'm just walking to my room.
Okay.
I'm like, hey,
Hi.
anything interesting happen?
I'm kind of hungry.
That's normal-ish.
Yeah, you want to go to the kitchen?
Sure.
I lock the door behind me and then I
Okay.
scurry off.
So, get any visitors?
How do you ask without asking? Is your girlfriend in your room?
Is that not asking?
Have
That feels
you-
like asking.
That feels
Have
like
you
asking.
been into writing words that rhyme and typically have a deeper meaning?
I think with how tense Zari is, I think she just kind of like stops and pushes Lute up against the wall like with a hand, and she's like, "What do you know?
Everything?
What do you mean everything?"
Well, I am 5% responsible for what I think we're talking about.
He's crying.
Don't hit me.
He's scared.
I'm getting flashbacks.
I was
to
gonna
your
say you have
brother.
trauma flashbacks. It's this whole family's against you.
I'm like, I'm better than him. I'm not gonna hit you.
So we're in agreement that you had a visitor.
What do you know?
That somebody's in your room.
I continue on to the kitchen.
Yenna and Raya, I'd like both of you to roll perception checks. I think
Are we still?
you guys
talking
are
or
still
no?
having your conversation.
Oh, how perceptive am I?
I don't
21.
always get
Nice.
manhandled.
So
I'm a
glad
grown
because
man.
9. Someone has to perceive things.
Raya, you're definitely just in the moment with everything that your conversation with Yenna has wrought. Yenna, you're emotionally caught off guard when you hear that kind of thud. It's not like a huge slam against, but you do hear somebody essentially being pushed against a wall.
And then crying.
And then you hear the sobs of Lute.
It wasn't me.
Don't hit me.
Please stop hitting
It was all your brother.
Right, please. Oh, I'm sorry, dear. Hold that thought. I have to check on something. I'm gonna open the door and just peek out in the hallway.
I think at this point you're seeing them as you're heading to the kitchen and you're pushing Lute, or Lute is moving freely.
I'm following behind.
Following behind. You see
Head down.
you see Lute kind of
I
following
have
around.
him by
Close the.
By the hood? You got his hood pinched?
like an ear.
Yeah.
I'll close the door. Never mind. It's just our usual fuckery.
Is everything okay?
Somebody, I think, got pushed up against a wall. I'm guessing it's possibly Lute.
Was it his fault?
I don't know. I didn't see that, but let's be honest, probably.
It probably was.
I am innocent.
How drunk do we want to get this early? Because I think you poured the expensive liquor that I had.
Little mimosa, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, a mimosa.
Yeah, a little juice mixed in with it. Why not?
Okay.
A little juice.
So then we're not
Juice
full
and whiskey.
Mhm.
That makes it acceptable for breakfast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I don't know. What do you think of all these deals and shit and that thing that showed up?
Oh, I don't fucking trust that thing any further than I could throw this airship.
Absolutely not. I'm so glad that we're all in agreement that nothing good could have came from that.
Have you ever dealt with Fae before?
No, but I've dealt in deals.
Yes, you would be the expert in that department.
And I've been in a position where I was faced with death and life. And I think there's certain powers in this universe that if you're between a rock and a hard place and some magical being shows up to solve all your problems, don't fucking trust it.
It's easier said than done when it's life or death, as you know, but
know.
certainly not for anything frivolous. I haven't dealt much with Fae at all, but I've heard stories, and they are tricky motherfuckers.
They are.
Everything you think you're getting is never what it appears.
I've heard tales, but I don't know much of the Fae. Are they
No, I
more
don't know much
common in this area?
They bounce around in and out here, probably much more than anywhere else. It's something about this place, something about here, the plains, the
Roll history.
okay.
Well,
You may have advantage.
The planes.
The planes.
That's 18.
So with the 18 history, you know that kind of there are a number of different portals that are existent in the east, and it's not like they're always a constant single place, and it's not like it's always as obvious as a glowing portal doorway that goes into another. But you understand that there is a deep-rooted connection to the plains, especially the Feywild, due to Pax's connection to it. That this area is essentially the seeding of all of Thera, where most plant life and flora existed and came to be. And that extended when Pax would go into the Feywild and not only cultivate, but plant and create new plant life as well. There has always been a Feywild, and it's hotly debated whether Pax preceded it or came after it.
Relay that to you. It's just that there's just something different here. It's a thin veil between the realms here. It's easier to
Can't
pass.
Wait until we leave.
Well, maybe we should go check
All
on the
this
repairs,
fuckery.
see how this shit's going.
Yeah.
Okay. You two head out. Right now it's like 1 a.m. You guys are heading out. You see the crew, red-eyed
One
and
in the morning?
yeah. This is, you guys haven't rested from
The
everything.
fight, yeah, the fight happened like
Yeah, I
at
guess that's true.
nighttime.
We
Oh,
didn't.
fuck, I thought it was like morning, like
No.
morning. Okay.
No, this is still that same night. The crew is hard, diligently working. All of them a little bit frantic. You see that spells of haste are being cast and things like that by Holgan, as like everybody's in agreement. Like, fuck this place, let's get out.
Yes.
Can I go to the galley and get water, juice, something,
Yeah.
and take it down to everybody?
Yeah, you're heading to the galley. We're going to jump back to that in a moment. Elm, are you doing anything when you get back to your room, or are you just going to sleep?
No, I'm very much like. Do I have a window in my room?
There's a port window. Right now, I think that your room looks kind of down at the shore. It doesn't look at the jungle.
Yeah. I think I'm just looking out the window. I know that I don't have much of a view because we're beached, but I think I'm just
Roll perception check.
See a hermit crab.
9.
You just see the waves kind of flowing in and out.
Shells.
Yeah.
The worst time.
I'm just kind of looking, like reflecting on what I just did, and kind of just being like, probably worth it. I don't feel like I'm hurt. I don't feel like I've lost anything. Everyone else seems fine. So what? It's just a castle like that. I'm just kind of like justifying it in my head.
Sure. Do you think that you do this until you fall asleep?
I think right now I'm too alert with kind of just what's been going on that I'm in a very just anxious moment. So I'm not sitting down. I'm literally like just leaning up against the port window.
Do you think you get any rest tonight? Let me rephrase it. Do you stay in your room the rest of the night, or do you think Elm of his own volition would leave at any point?
I think I would leave and probably go try to share a bed with Rhea.
Okay, in an hour or 2 hours?
Like an hour or so.
Okay,
30
good deal.
minutes to an hour.
We jump back to Zari and Loot as you're heading into the galley. You notice that there isn't really a buffet or anything. There's nothing set up,
Just
but
cupcakes.
there are leftover cupcakes. You know where the
They gotta
drawers.
be stale.
Oh, definitely,
I would hope so.
definitely.
No, for some reason the cupcakes are still good.
It's the
They still taste good. They're
It's
just
the
dry.
drugs.
They're just dry.
No, they're still moist and everything.
Had to go there.
I'm dipping mine in my cup.
Yep, they're
still
moist.
good.
They're moist when you dip them.
I think I'm trying to find like bland foods, like
Bland?
bread.
Yeah, you're able to find it. You guys know where the food is kept and stuff.
I just wasn't sure how much was damaged when we lost half the ship.
The blowing out of the ship mostly affected the air stable, not the place where you keep the food. The food stores are in the front of the ship, whereas the back of the ship is where everything kind of got blown out and stuff like that.
Thank God.
So you guys do have plenty of food, things like that.
I go and I get like just like bread.
A lot of, like I said, a lot of the food that you have are more like raw materials and stuff. So like there are fresh vegetables and stuff like that. You do have like, in case of emergency, like bread, but it's more like tack bread, not like a fresh bread.
Unless you ask chef to.
Yeah, there's flour and there's stuff to make bread, but most of like the stuff that's ready to eat is like tack.
That's fine. I'm looking for anything.
Yeah, easy,
Dip it in
easy
water.
stuff.
Yeah.
She loved little one.
Take like
Baby
I do
bird
take
it
water
to her.
and, like, no.
You see Zari going
I'm
and
gonna
collecting.
try to help because I can figure out what she's trying to do.
Yeah.
Just like bland foods and then I think.
I'm like, so bad condition.
So what happened?
So I had 5% to do with this. Elm came to my room. I was in my bed laying down. And
I can tell you're in your pajamas with your hat.
And then Elm came in and he's like, hey, I need to talk to you in the war room. I was like, okay, it's time. I thought, he's going to come on to me. So then I got to the war room. And then he was like, hey, I'm thinking about making a deal. And I was like, uh-oh. I strongly advise against it. But he was like, no, I want to make one. So then he called the Thay guy, and the Thay guy was there. And then Elm and him made a deal. There were vines and everything going into Elm's arm.
So one thing, you didn't see the vines.
I didn't see
You
the
just
vines, so
you
scratch
just
that.
you just saw them shaking hands.
They touched hands, and then he said, poetry's yours.
They touched hands.
So I'm assuming...
So where did your 5% come into this?
I was there. I'm guilty by association.
And nothing else happened on your...
I didn't make
On your
any
part?
deal, no.
It's almost like I went there to ask him for help, and he went.
He's a yes man.
He went. Okay. Hey, fuck you. Get in here.
He's a
Basically.
follower.
Your
He
problem
is.
now.
He was supporting you.
I think while you two are having this conversation, you're just responding. The two of you are walking in.
He said I could bring my mother back, and then I was like, oh, you're creepy, and then I kind of ended the conversation there, and I played music.
Yen and Raya, you both heard that very clearly.
That was a weird dream.
Yeah.
Wait, what? No.
Both of you roll deceptions, and then both of you roll insights.
Hold on.
21.
18.
Zari's like,
Oh no, she's cashing in.
Zari's like, I want my secret girlfriend.
Come out of the closet.
We do.
22.
33.
You guys,
Holy shit!
you guys are walking in, and everything sounds strange, really odd. But then again, it makes sense that Loot would be maybe reaching out to Zari for comfort after maybe an intense and vivid dream after everything that you guys have been through.
Yeah.
It's only been a short while. You guys have been exhausted and stuff. And the fact that maybe he had such an abrupt and intense dream in everything that's going on makes sense how you would turn to Zari.
Plus, he's in his pajamas, so it makes sense.
Yep.
and I woke up and I didn't wet myself.
Good job. I'm proud of you.
Oh, you
I'm
guys
glad we don't have to wash your sheets again.
Mm-hmm.
carry on then. I'm gonna give
Hi,
it a
Morning,
try.
ladies.
Hi, Yenna. Hi, Rhea.
I lean over to Yenna.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Loot has a person. I'm surprised that it's Zari of all people.
Maybe not here.
Oh yeah, I'm notoriously bad at whispering.
She hears everything.
You get a whiff of Rhea's breath. She didn't add juice to her drink.
No, no juice in there.
That's just scotch.
For my mimosa, 100% scotch.
The only way it should be done.
We went from morning to 1 a.m. I'm like, absolutely no juice.
No juice.
Nightcap.
Nightcap.
So we're gonna take these waters out to the crew. You guys gonna be okay in here?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk Luke back to bed.
Yeah, I was just shaking up.
That's good. Make sure he gets there safely. It's a long way from here. And he is a child.
Are you okay? You can take Nimbus for the night?
Oh, yeah, if you want. That's fine.
Yeah. She's either prowling the halls or she's already sleeping in my room. But she's really good at keeping an eye out.
Okay.
She likes to be the little spoon.
All right. With that, I'll go into Rhea's room and crawl in her bed.
You are walking into Ray's room, which is pretty. I don't want to say it's well kept, but you can tell like there's definitely like everything has a space. This is the cat's space. This is my space. Whether it looks neat isn't really the thing. It's organized in a sense that makes sense to her, and you recognize that immediately. You do see that Nimbus has an area, but has completely ignored that and is in the center of the bed, completely sprawled out, wings included.
So I see that, and I'm like, little spoon, got it. And I try to crawl up to Nimbus.
Roll animal handling with disadvantage.
So bad.
He's gonna
Please don't
run out
scratch
the room
the shit out of
screaming.
him.
21.
With a 21 with
I got a
disadvantage,
23 and a 21.
That's amazing.
you slowly kind of slither your way into the bed, very slippery, sneakily like a snake, and you kind of feel just that little bit of a stretch and an adjustment of unwaking Nimbus as she's just asleep, and you are now Big Spoon, and you kind of hear her just as she's making night talk.
I fall asleep petting her.
Nimbus cast fireball.
I believe in Nimbus. Nimbus is probably a tiny god, actually,
And then Nimbus helps me fall right to sleep.
Good deal.
in my room.
Those pros do that.
The three of you head down, give out drinks to the crew, enjoying your own beverages. Anything else that you three are doing?
I'm going back to my room.
Go back to your room.
I will meditate on the deck,
Okay.
overlooking the crew, so I can still be alerted if there's an issue.
Good
but
deal.
I'll still get my rest.
I go to try to find Elm because I'm like, he must be sleeping.
You go
So I
to
go to his room.
you go to his room. You
So at that point, I would still be just kind of leaning up.
Yeah.
and slowing down.
absolutely. You knock. You just walk in.
Who is it?
It's Rhea.
Oh, perfect. You can come in. Door's unlocked.
Why are you still up?
Roll insight with advantage.
I don't even know if I'm trying to hide anything.
It's not that. It's not about you
Nat 20
hiding
and a
anything.
19.
Yeah.
It's about her being able to instantly pick up on your mood, your everything.
26.
Yeah. You see just like the sheer look on his face is, I mean, obviously very tired, but it's very like someone who's been trying to piece together a lot. So like he just kind of looks a little disheveled typically, as his hair, now that it's longer, like tied back, he's just like let it go down, and he's just like kind of been pacing. He seems like he's very anxious.
Rhea like jumps onto your bed and pats the side.
Heyo.
Hey!
You're not gonna solve all the world's problems tonight, so let's sleep on it.
He's gonna take a seat. I'm just gonna let you know this now, because I don't think anyone else probably would have told you.
Do we need our cards ready?
Which one?
Yell at him. Do it.
I was thinking like safe word.
I got poetry back.
What do you mean? At this point, like, Rhea's fully snuggled up in bed, thinking that we're just gonna go to sleep, and like turn to you, like,
I'm just still
sleepily
sitting.
and half drunk. Like, what do you mean you got poetry back? You have a plan?
No. I succeeded on the plan.
Hey!
I traded away the castle. I got poetry back.
That thing came back to you.
Yep.
Why didn't you come get me?
If I'm being genuinely honest, I wanted to talk to Loot, and Loot just kind of summoned him, and I was kind of pressured. I was in the war room, and I couldn't escape without making a choice.
he
Tapes.
he says this, and you think back to what Lute's saying, and you go, that little lying son of a bitch.
Motherfucker.
So it was either I could never call him back, and that was it, or I could get poetry back before Zari left us and went on a crusade of her own.
Hear me out.
Good
Yep.
word.
Okay, let's break this down.
Yep.
You wanted help making a dire choice, and you asked Loot for advice and went somewhere only with Loot.
I can see how that sounds very bad. My rationale
At
behind
this point, she's sitting up in
Hold
the
on.
bed and she's talking with her hands. Like, let's break this down.
Yes, I'm gonna say it was
She's clapping.
it was not a good choice, but I also didn't want to make any decisions. I know that with your history of making deals, you would have been totally against it, which you were in the war room. And I knew that bringing it up would have just been more of an issue. So
you would rather ask for forgiveness?
Been permission, yep.
I mean, in a sense, I guess yes. But at the end of the day, poetry's back.
And at what cost?
Castle.
And yes, I have a personal experience with this. And so that's why you didn't want my advice?
No, I did want your... Here's the thing. I
What
kinda...
are we?
Hold on. Pause. Before we get into that...
Excuse me?
Oh, what I mean by this is I very much wanted to get multiple opinions. I was like I said when I was talking to Loot, I wanted to hear what he had to say, and he just kind of went, "Hey, person, come in here. Let's make a deal." And it was kind of just
Did someone have a knife to your throat?
the opportunity was going to go away if I didn't make a choice.
Then that tells you it was a bad idea. If anyone puts you in a position where you have to take action or miss out and they make the consequences dire, fucking pass on that shit. Because they have the upper hand and they know it.
Yeah. I also just didn't want to see Zari leave for a month and potentially go into a trap and die.
I know, I understand that, but... God, you couldn't even ask me?
Trust me.
We couldn't even talk about it?
Trust me, I
Privately,
wanted
you went
to.
to Loot?
Okay, you were talking to Deanna. It was hard. I
You
didn't.
could have... Hey, this is kind of important.
All right,
Can
that's
we
fair.
have a
That's fair.
conversation?
Okay, that's fair. I get it. That's fair. I'm not even gonna say that I didn't make a stupid mistake. I did, but at this point, we have, as a collective, have made a lot of stupid mistakes, and I just wanted to do something right so that we could not break off more than we already have been. I mean, that's... We keep making a lack of decisions. We don't make decisions. We just keep saying, "Oh, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this." And
So
we
you
just
decide
keep,
to take it into your own hands?
in a sense, yes.
That was very selfish.
I could have been way more selfish. I could have gotten the book that I wanted to get. I could have gotten my stuff back. But
Then
instead,
do it. And she leaves the room.
I got poetry.
You're saying this. I could have gotten the book. I could have, and she's getting up, walking to the door, and as you're saying this in like an impassioned place of like, not explaining yourself, but like giving your rationale, and you're just turning, and you just say, and just do it, and you walk out, slamming the door behind you.
I think
Channel it. Go.
I don't know what to do. I think she's so mad that she feels like she might explode. Like she either has to take action, hurt something, do something. And so she goes up on deck and just takes off.
Okay.
Oh, I was
Before
gonna
you
say-
get there, what's Elm do?
I was going to say,
Unless-
if I could get there quick enough, I am going to just try to come up behind her and just give her a hug.
Just roll d20s. See who gets on top.
Giggity.
Add anything?
Giggity. Nope. No additions.
16.
17.
I think that your
17.
rollies.
15.
6.
Okay.
Best use of inspiration.
Your partner trying to hug you in a fight? Absolutely not. Let me slam the door.
I get the last word. You see her as she's like stepping away, and you can tell she's upset. She's moving. You see her wings are literally like fluttering in anger and stuff. And as she's moving, she's like marching. She's using full arm wave marching. And you grab her wrist at her moment. She turns back, and you just pull her in. And you wrap your arms around her.
I just say, please don't leave me in this time. I just want to talk more. I'm sorry.
If you want this, if you want us, I need you to think of more than just what you want and what you think is right.
I'm gonna. Sorry. Go on. Finish.
Unless something else happens, she's casting Dimension Door and going, do I have to see it?
No.
Within range, up top, deck,
Yep.
and then I fly off.
I think the only thing I was going to interject with was you're turning around, you're hugging her, you're whispering this into her ear, and as you pull back to like look at her and wait for a response, she's saying this. But as you do, you see a little bit of black ichor coming out of her eyes. You notice that a little bit of the wings seem to be graying and falling, and then she dimension doors away and is on the top deck. I think you instantly fly away from there.
I think just this, the weight of what she's feeling right now, like her concern for him, but her anger, like the sense of betrayal, like you don't value my opinion enough that you would rather just take action and then ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
She just has to do something. So she's not stupid. She knows the area is dangerous.
No,
she's
for sure.
just gonna do like laps around the ship.
Sure.
Like high enough that the crew isn't watching her like circle above the ship.
Like a vulture.
But I think she's just flying up in the air and just thinking, and fucking Lou, and he's a kid, and why does Elm feel like he has to fix everything?
Let me ask you this: instead of circling, do you feel like you just fly in a like straight up, just straight in a direction?
That's a trap.
You said yes already. It's too late.
I think
Flying straight
to
up.
a certain height, she would just take off and
Sure.
use that like
Yeah.
momentum and anger
To keep going.
And at some point, she's gonna be like, I'm way too high. I need to.
Yeah. It's not like I think you're trying to fly to the sun, but you know what I mean? Just like
She hits the
sometimes when you're in an emotional state, it's just run. It's just move.
Yeah.
It's like single direction. Some
Like you're
people
on
it's pacing. And if you want to be pacing in the air, that's fine. But I'm just saying the other, like maybe you're just going straight up.
Yeah, no, it's more like you're on the highway and you're like, oh shit, I'm going like 98.
Yeah, exactly. Good deal. Elm, she disappears from your arms. You kind of collapse into yourself as you're now hugging nothing. What do you do?
I go to my room, and I just start drinking.
Okay.
And I pull a knife out, and I just have it stabbed into the wall, and I'm just staring at it.
Good deal. Good deal.
Cut to Luke, cuddling Nimbus.
Fast asleep.
Sleeping so good.
She's now rolled into you, and it's just
She's doing that thing with like her arm.
yeah,
At some
100%.
point, Rhea is coming back to her room tonight.
We'll find out.
And you're gonna
Yenna.
see the cutest thing ever.
There's an excellent chance for some fan art.
Yenna.
If anybody would be interested.
What's your passive perception?
My passive perception, I believe, is 16.
27.
Yep, 16.
With a 16, even in your meditative state, you do catch this portal and then Raya just flying straight up. What do you do? Anything?
I continue my meditation.
Good deal. You let it lie.
It's
Good deal.
if conversation needs to be had,
She'll come to you. With that,
I can't fly anyway.
Falling-
So what am I gonna fucking do?
falling
Shoot
as,
an arrow at you?
Hit me in the ass. Get down here. Let's talk.
anything else? How long do you think you pace before returning to your room?
I think a good 30 to 40 minutes, but
Good
then
deal.
I realize how exhausted I am.
Yeah. Definitely catches up with you.
Completely sober and drained, emotionally and physically, because it's 2 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it's like 2:30 in the morning now. Good
So
deal.
at that point,
You begin descending slowly, and you're still in your meditative state, and you kind of walk past Yenna, I assume, and then go to your room, where you discover Elm just curled up in your bed. Loot, not Elm. Loot curled up. Loot is curled up in your bed with Nimbus.
how much space do I have here?
Not much. They're
they-
like
Wherever Nimbus was,
full-
I curled around a
yeah,
Nimbus.
they're full beds. So imagine there's room on the ends. They're like a perfect donut in the center of the bed.
I think about sleeping on the floor for a minute. But then I'm like, it's my fucking bed. I don't want to wake him up. So I get on the other side of Nimbus.
Okay.
And we make a Nimbus sandwich.
Okay. Roll animal handling with advantage.
Nimbus Oreo.
That is...
And then after that, roll just a regular stealth.
Okay. What do I have for animal?
And all her anger just left as
That
she
is
walks in and
17.
sees me and Nimbus.
Nimbus is not disturbed by you moving into the bed.
Ooh.
That's actually how I am when I go home and I see Delilah. I'm like, every feeling I have about the public gone.
Gone.
Luke, what is your passive perception minus 5?
7 stealth.
Passive perception would be 8.
Minus 5?
So yeah, 13 minus 5,
Yeah.
8.
So you're kind of bristled awake. It's not abrupt or anything like that, but you are just kind of nudged awake as you see Raya getting into the bed on the other side of Nimbus.
Scoot over to make a little bit more room and go back to bed.
Good deal.
Nimbus doesn't move, so I'm still at the foot of the bed.
Yeah, Nimbus doesn't move for anybody.
Hey, that's not on me.
No, that's okay. And then when Rhea lays down, she kind of curls a wing around Nimbus. She doesn't know if you're awake, so it's partially on you too.
Good
I
deal.
use it as a blanket. I pull it over.
Ooh, downy.
When you're at your friend's house and they forget to give you a blanket.
Zari, anything else before you go to sleep?
I wouldn't wake Poetry up to have her eat. I would just put it
Next to her. Good deal.
I think I would just kind of lay there for
Okay.
a while and pass out whenever sleep takes.
Good deal. We wake up the following morning. If there's any RP that you would like to happen before the ship is repaired, now is the time. This could happen in a day's time. That following morning. You tell me when you think this conversation, if there is one, would be appropriate for your characters.
I'm not
Anybody,
leaving my room.
Okay?
anybody want to have a conversation with me?
I think you and Raya probably should have
That's
one.
what I'm hinting at.
Yes.
I assume that morning.
Yes. I'm not gonna wake
Nope.
you up.
Quietly for 3 days. And then,
She's gonna wake up and just.
so,
I don't know. Which one of us wakes up first?
Okay.
just straight rollies.
12.
19.
Okay. You're awake.
You wake up first.
I leave.
Okay, quickly. Roll
Yes.
stealth.
I was gonna say, do you wake me up?
What's your passive?
Ooh, not
It's
great.
passive -5.
Ugh, okay.
24.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. You wake up seeing the scenario and quietly get out of the bed without waking up anybody.
Yeah, I just don't want to be rude,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, you guys are sleeping peacefully. I'm going to slip out, close the door quietly, and then I'm going to go have some breakfast.
Leave a
And
few,
you
I'm
do-
gonna find you.
leave
me?
a few
Does
bucks on the
anybody-
dresser.
One more time.
Does anybody in the crew see?
No, the crew, you haven't left your room. You sneak out, go to the galley. You wake up eventually. You're on the top deck. You meditate. What do you do after that?
My entire focus is the crew right now.
Protecting them,
Other
being
than noting that Raya flew off Superman style for a little while. So when I wake up, I'm going to go down and find our shipmate guy. I can't remember their names.
Which one?
The frog?
Corp?
Corp.
Yeah.
The shipwright?
You got
Yeah.
it.
And ask him how the progress is going. Yeah, I knew this was
You
terrible.
notice. What's your passive insight?
16.
With the passive insight?
Oh, insight? I think it's 17.
With the 17, you notice that his eyes are a little bit dry. Kind of like just dried out a little bit. You kind of talk to him, and he kind of like hasn't slept. You notice that he walks over, he splashes water, and then he comes over to your face. You can tell he's exhausted, but he's refusing to like set down his stuff, and he's like kind of continuing to work as you're talking to him.
Corp, please. I know. You need to rest. We have 2 more days. I'll use my little spritzer that I use for my lizard on Corp.
You see Uther going. You see Draj turns to you. We're gonna keep working. As they're all just like focused on working dead set.
We appreciate everything you're doing. Anything we can do to help, let us know. But please,
Get us out of here. Get us the fuck out of here.
We will, but you do us no good. 100% exhausted. Then we've got 15 people to care for on the way home.
All right, we'll sleep later. Sleep later.
Sleep when we're dead.
Sleep later.
'Cause we might be.
Roll persuasion.
Big number, no whammy.
Nope.
You get like a plus 20 though, right?
I wish.
You got that
That's
inspiration.
yeah, I do. What is that?
You reroll.
Just reroll.
Then you take the higher.
Glad you guys used all your inspirations.
That's better.
Hold on to it.
15.
You can need it.
15.
You kind of like physically stop them for a second, and you see that the message gets through. And they all kind of reluctantly agree, and they all kind of just like go to their respective rooms and go to rest.
Is there anything, and I know I'm not proficient at this, but is there anything that looks kind of unfinished that I can deduce? I
back
can
of the
finish
ship.
this.
No,
Well, I mean,
No, I know.
Nails
Specifically-
not all the way in, boards that need moved.
There's minor things that you can be working on, doing stuff like
I'll do
that.
that
I would say most of the work that you're doing is like you notice what supplies have been like set up, like, okay, this is what we need and this is what's being used, and you just kind of like restock everything.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'll do.
Good deal. Anybody over these next 3 days? Otherwise, we're just going to jump to the ship being fixed.
No, I'm going to find loot first.
I'm eating breakfast.
Innocently.
I sit down next to you.
Morning. Nom 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 nom.
How'd you sleep?
Amazing. I've never owned a pet, and now sleeping with one. That was the second best sleep I've had, beside Argos's place.
Phrasing.
I'm glad.
How'd you sleep?
Horrible.
Oh.
I learned something last night.
That the bed's not big enough for two people and a cat?
No bed's big enough for 2 people and a cat.
No, it is. It is, actually. That was pretty comfy. What were you thinking?
Normally nothing. Why? When?
How?
I heard about the deal.
Yeah, Elm tried coming to me and he's like, hey, I want to make a deal. I think we should trade the castle for poetry. So I was like, fine then, let's do it. And he's like, well, I don't even really know how to call the guy. And I was like, hey! Not gonna say it again because he might come. I didn't think it worked the first time.
Phrasing.
And then he comes in,
Phrasing.
and then
He
Elm
might come.
was like, said some words about wanting to make a deal for poetry, and then dude was like, hey, how about the castle? And they looked over at me and was like, you want your mom back? And I was like, oh, that kind of scared me, because he wanted my music, and I kind of like that.
He's a bad guy.
I got that.
Bad thing.
But Elm was like, he wanted to make a deal, and he felt like that was the right thing to do, and he did it.
To go behind all of our backs.
Hey,
When
I
we
never
had-
say. Hey, I was guilty by association. I was there.
Loot, what's your passive perception?
That's a perception.
What did you advise him during this time?
13.
With a 13, you notice that a couple of her feathers have fallen, almost as if she's molting a little bit.
You malt too?
You put the feather in your mouth, and it's as delicious as a feather in your mouth.
I guess so. I haven't really... And she flutters her wings a little bit. I haven't really had these for very
Do
long.
more fall off when she flutters?
Yeah.
You're shedding.
I guess so.
I start looking at her. Is anything else off?
Roll perception or insight. You tell me what kind of vibe
Perception.
you're
I'm
on.
seeing feathers fall
Sure.
off. I want to know.
Roll perception.
Is her skin peeling too?
Does she look like a naked chicken under the feathers?
That's only an
what I
8.
want to know.
28.
No, just an 8.
Just an 8. She looks tired. Like she didn't get the best rest.
Well, you look a little sleepy, but.
No one had a knife to your guys' throat, and you decided to make this deal without.
I didn't make a deal.
But you supported Elm in this? You didn't say, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this?
So I didn't know if he already, came to you guys and talked. Because he came to my room and was like, let's go to the war room.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. And he's a grown man. If he wants to make a deal, he can make a deal.
I get that, but it's not just about him.
Oh, I know.
It's about us. As a group. All of us.
Okay.
We
Uh-huh.
have survived so fucking long together. And we had decided that we weren't going to make a deal with this thing that showed up and is like, I can get you anything you want. Because
Maybe it was a bad idea, but people, you gotta let live and learn. I mean, coming from you, I don't want to be the one to say this. But, is the pot called the kettle black?
you absolutely can.
I'm holding it up for him.
You absolutely can say that because I've made some dumb fucking choices. But I've also owned up to those decisions. And they've been under dire straits. The last one being die or live and sell your soul.
Did you ask Elm why he made the deal?
Yes.
Did he say why?
Because he felt like it was worth it.
Life or death of his sister?
He didn't say that. But we would have gone with her.
What if she didn't allow that? He was trying to protect his sister and made a stupid deal. Which, It might not even be stupid. We'll gotta cross that bridge when that happens. But I'm just saying, everybody is entitled to their own stupid decisions.
No castle.
I'm just worried because we don't.
You have 110% to be worried. Yes. Angry? No. Worried? Yes.
Angry because he didn't ask my opinion, and we're supposed to.
Now that sounds like a you. Now that's not an us thing. That seems like a boyfriend-girlfriend type thing.
Well, correct, but I wanted to see if you had at least said, "Hey, dipshit, did you talk to anyone about this?"
Coming from the person who got himself kidnapped.
Listen, I get it. You're a child. You're
I'm a
learning.
very trusting person, okay?
I just.
I love Loot so much.
He came to me,
I know.
and it sounded like he knew what he was doing.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't blame you. Just in the future, can we get a heads up?
I cast a message to Elm, and I'm like, get your ass down here. I'm not getting yelled at for you.
You
You're being like interrogated at
You cast sending.
That's what I mean,
You
yeah.
cast sending. You hear this. I'm not getting yelled at for you.
I'm in the kitchen.
I haven't slept.
Yeah, you go. That's your
I
entire
go.
response?
Sorry, buddy. I'll try to make my way to the wherever you are.
I'm like, hey, I have a great idea. Follow me. And I get up and start walking.
Okay.
I open the door. I look at Elm. I'm like, what is everybody yelling?
I'm in my room.
And then we go to Elm's room, and I just walk in.
Is your door locked? You walk in.
If anything, my door was still like left slightly open.
Sure.
Like I think.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just sitting on his bed.
Hey, Elm, apparently we all need to talk.
All of us. And I go to get Yenna and Zari.
If I look disheveled before, I am way more disheveled, and there is like just frost marks down my eyes.
So as she leaves, I sit down next to Elm, and I'm like, let me do all the talking.
So one thing that I'm going to say as a bit of flavor, but I think is contextually important, where most people, like, after sobbing or crying very hard, their cheeks are a little flush or red and stuff. You notice that Elm's cheeks are pale, and it's almost like that morning dew frost that just collects at the very beginning of winter and snowy seasons. That little bit of frost is just literally like the same tracks of tears and sobs and stuff, and it's just down his face.
Elm, I'm fixing it. Just let me do all the talking.
Okay.
I immediately, I'm like, I need Yenna. And I knock on her door.
I'm down.
Yenna's not
I'm
there.
down working on
You
the ship.
knock on her door, you get no
answer.
response.
I go up deck because I remember she was up there.
You're looking on the top deck, you're not seeing her, but you do, what's your passive? Perception?
12.
You do hear her kind of like moving stuff below.
Okay. I go find Yenna. Morning meeting.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What does this have to do with your flying away last night?
Absolutely.
Oh God!
Abso-fucking-lutely. Elm's room.
Of course.
And then I go to Zari's room.
Knock on the door, or you walk in.
I
Knock on
knock.
the door.
I'm gonna respect a woman's privacy.
She knocks the first time, and I like do the same thing where I'm like, hi, good morning.
Good morning. Morning meeting
About what?
about El made a decision without asking anyone but Lou.
Men are stupid.
We need to talk about it.
Okay. Give me a second.
Okay.
Where are we meeting?
Oh, Elm's room. Sorry.
Okay.
She like turns away, turns back. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you where.
Okay. Just take like a second. Kind of like change out of pajamas and then go.
Ray
Meeting
has
in
walked
Elm's room.
away because Zari's always been a private person.
Sure.
So she feels,
Yeah, give her space.
yeah.
Everybody meets in Elm's room. Elm is mostly asleep. but he's still awake.
I have him like Weekend at Bernie's. I'm holding on to
100.
him.
It's one of those people who is forcing themselves to be awake, whether that's via stress or sheer force of will, but is consciously making an effort to be awake and
Instead
is
of having,
losing
like,
that battle.
eye boogies, I just have like eye frosties.
Yeah, it is like that morning frost do, but it's kind of like.
And I'll start off this meeting by saying El may be dumb, but he was doing it out of the kindness of his heart.
Thanks, man.
Well, I think Yana's the only one here that doesn't know what happened.
Doing what? You look like hell, Elton.
Oh, fuck, yes, you do.
Are you all right?
I'll let them explain everything.
No. I want you to speak from your experience.
Okay. So, I made a very bad decision, but in the moment I thought it was right. I didn't want to see us break apart again. I didn't want Zari to go off on her own revenge crusade to go get poetry, because I didn't think that was a great idea. And even if we all went, I just thought it wouldn't have, I don't know, been a great choice to spend 30 days flying there.
With all due respect, we have a ship to fix. Can we get to the fucking point?
They're fixing the ship.
So I made a deal with the Fae guy for a castle that we apparently own to get poetry back.
What castle?
Sartell's, I'm assuming.
Wait. So, you made a deal with the Fae creature we met. The Procurer, I believe, was his name?
Don't say it.
I think it's if you say it 3 times in a row.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice appears.
And he asked,
The Broadway.
wait, what, we don't have a castle.
He said that the castle at Arms Hold fell into our possession since everyone that owned it was dead. And I assumed that,
Sartell's not dead.
That we know of.
a castle's a castle, but you guys are my family.
Home is where the heart is.
I'd rather have you guys than a thing that...
I think you're bearing the lead here. Decision or no, if he knew that castle fell to us, I fear that means nobody's left.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
No one from the Mithril Guard is left.
Was poetry ever part of the Mithril Guard? Mm-hmm. Well, poetry's still around.
So... yeah.
I cast Sending to Zog. I'm like, hey, buddy, how's it going? You still around?
Buddy. Not good. Had to run away. Don't know where Belfier is. Think I'm safe.
Well, Zog is kind of okay. You don't know where Belfier is, though.
The Fae don't deal with things like this lightly. It would not have been an accepted deal if it were not true.
If it was
Did-
not better on his end.
Did his end come through?
Did he specify that specific castle?
Be positive. What was his end?
I got poetry back.
What?
I forgot to ask. What does that mean?
Oh, are you keeping it a secret?
You don't know she's here. Elm doesn't know she's here.
Yes, I do. I listened in
The
before.
poetry's here. How?
Because of the deal. Hey, thanks for keeping more secrets.
She's sleeping.
Yep.
No, not now.
I'm not trying to start anything. I'm just saying, like,
And-
if I'm being open and honest, I
And
think
if
it'd
we're
be
being open
easy.
and honest, I don't think he specified Orum's Hold. I think he said castle, and we kind of implied it.
What other castle could there be?
Now hear me out.
I don't own any castles.
Elm.
That's for sure.
Who's your mom and dad?
I have no clue.
Hear me out. What if you're royalty?
That'd be pretty cool, I guess.
So
He's
you
just
know,
as likely an orphan from the slums.
I mean, true. But I mean, it explains why you would have a castle that we don't know about.
Lute has a point.
Or like a weirdly rich uncle, maybe? Who died?
What if you inherited a castle?
Well, it makes me feel a little bit better about my decision.
Have you checked the mail yet?
No.
Okay, so the deed might be in the mail.
My issue, and I know that I have made my own fucked up decisions in the past,
Amen.
and I can own up to that completely, is that we had made a choice as a group, and you took it upon yourself to grab the most naive and gullible member of the group and go make this deal with an entity that you don't know anything about, who I'm pretty sure eats kittens.
Probably.
Allegedly.
And I'm sorry, but that's a red flag in my book.
No, trust me, I know that there are no good deals, and I definitely... The last thing I wanted was to hurt anybody more, because that's all we've been. But I just couldn't... I couldn't stand the fact that we were so close to something, and I don't understand it, and maybe if I did understand it more, I wouldn't have done it, but I'm just so tired of us being pushed and pulled into other directions, and I'm so tired of not having any upper ground that, yeah, I know, I put it in my own decisions, and I'm sorry. It was something that I know no one would have agreed with me, and if I'm being honest, that's why I went to Luke, because I just wanted to have one person maybe say yes to an idea that I had, and even he said no. So I made a decision selfishly because I just want my opinion to be heard.
And then plus, if push comes to shove, we can always just go get the castle back.
I don't want a castle. If it's my castle, then who needs it? If it's Armshold, I'm sorry.
I don't care about material things,
Neither do I.
but we don't know anything about this. Is there some link to the prophecy with this castle? Is there a book? What castle is it? Who owns it?
Well, here's the thing: is if I'm being genuinely honest, at first I was going to get a book because he said he would be able to do it for us, and I wanted that because I want to have some upper ground. We have nothing at this point. We keep giving stuff to them, and that's not necessarily our fault, but like, we had a book, now we don't. We had this compass that could have led us to anywhere, now we don't. To be fair, danger comes and we step away, but at a certain point in time, we need to have the upper ground. If we don't have the upper ground, we're going to keep being split, and we're going to keep going on our own personal choices and go on our own personal paths. But at the end of the day, if this prophecy is real, if chaos is about to take over this world, then we either die fighting or we die laying down. Either way, we're dying. So
If we're dying,
YOLO.
I want to die together.
that's exactly my point.
And on that same path, I want to make decisions together. If you feel so strongly that you would go to the one person in this group that you know would say yes to anything,
He didn't even say yes. So I'll give you that, Lou.
Thank you, El.
I want you... I don't know. I don't want to speak to the group on this, but for you and I, if we're going to make this work, I need you to value my input if our futures are going to be tied together.
That's all I want.
And I know you were probably just trying to protect your sister. I
Very
didn't
much
want Zari to leave either. I feel that if we split up,
We're dead.
it's game over. I just wish you would have came to us and told me that you're scared for your sister, told me that you, when faced with Poetry's life and your sister's life and splitting the group, that you would choose this castle that you don't know about. I get that, but I need you
Oh my gosh, she's gonna cry.
not try to fix the world by yourself. We gotta make decisions together, and then we can own the consequences together.
Zari, are you happy? Is Poetry okay?
Have you heard from her?
She will be. Okay.
Okay. In terms of bad decisions we've all to make, I think this is fairly low on the list. If there's outcomes that we can't foresee right now, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is figuring out next.
Yeah.
Now, whatever this did between you two need to handle that.
That's fine. We're not talking about that right now.
Okay. Loot.
Yes.
Perhaps just circle. Maybe one more in. Maybe, I don't know.
What?
Bring one more
Just
person in.
bring
Oh.
one more person. Just,
Well, it wasn't my, decision. He's like, hey, come here, I need to talk to you. Should I always be like, I can't be talked to by myself, let me get somebody?
I
If
need
you're
a parent or
summoning-
guardian.
If you're summoning an entity,
I didn't know we were doing that until we were there. It's like, hey, come to this party.
maybe
Oh,
pause.
everybody's drinking.
Pause a moment. Think. What would Yana do? And then maybe ask Yana.
What's done is done. There's no sense in worrying about it at this point. What
And
will
I can't be held reliable for my own actions.
whatever will come will come. Yes, we're aware. We're very aware. The focus is this ship right now. Since we're all here, what next?
Well, it looks
We
like
can-
Elm needs to take a nap.
Well, I think we go back to Larrakis, reinforce the ship, and then got a
And
couple
Elm-
people to drop off.
You're right. If you feel we've dismissed your opinions in our decisions, say so. Tell us.
Yes.
If we have, I apologize. I don't mean to dismiss it. We all have a stake in this.
And I promise the next time you have a plan, I'll say yes.
Thanks, Luke.
No.
Blindly agree.
I don't plan on making any more dumb plans.
I'm
No,
not
we don't
saying
even
it
know
was
that
dumb.
this will be dumb. We don't.
We don't even know that. But what I'm saying is, if you're making a decision that affects everyone
Do
should
it together.
get
Yeah.
a say.
I agree.
We have a loved one back and an ally.
And someone to ask what the fuck was going on.
Absolutely.
Information.
I'm sure wherever she was when they bamfed her here, however they did it, perhaps she's got information that'll be valued to us. But I'm with Zari. Larrakis to see what answers we can get. And, we can go from there. We should probably take this emissary back to where they belong, so that reward is worth its weight in gold to us at this point.
Literally.
Agreed.
And then we can determine from there.
Okay. Any other conversations in these days to come?
I just want everybody to know I still love you guys.
I love you guys too. That's why I wanted to talk about this. And I love you. Quit trying to save everything and everyone by yourself.
Yes.
We're better as a team.
We're better as a team because as a team we can own the consequences of our dumb decisions.
I think after everyone filters out of Elm's room after that conversation, it's not that I wasn't going to tell anybody. It's that I didn't want these loud fuckers waking her up. She needs to sleep. It's not
That's
that I was
very fair.
keeping secrets. I was doing what was best for her. Don't talk to me like that. And then I leave.
And she stabs you in the heart again.
Again.
Yeah,
To
again.
be fair, like, we were talking about poetry, and the first thing Rhea said is, maybe she has information. Let's interrogate her.
Waterboard.
Okay. Anything else? The ship repairs go pretty smoothly. You see that everybody's pretty diligent about their work, if not rushing to get it done. One thing does stand out. She doesn't wake up.
What do you mean she doesn't wake up?
She doesn't wake up.
What
So
if I
most
check
of that
on her?
first day, you let her sleep. You think she needs to rest. She must have been through a lot. Goes into that evening. You think, God, what did they do? That following morning, she hasn't eaten. You try to wake her up. She doesn't. What do you do?
Kicking down Elm's door.
Kick Elm's door down.
Yes.
Your friend fucked something up.
Okay. What do you mean?
This
see for
is a day
yourself.
later.
Come see for yourself.
I'm gonna get that long
Okay.
rest.
And she's just sleeping on the bed. Looks like she's sleeping on the bed.
I mean, she was beaten
wake
and
her
held,
up.
she was beaten and held
her up.
captured for God knows how long.
Wake her up.
I go to shake her,
You shake her a little bit. Doesn't wake up.
check her pulse.
She's got a pulse. Medicine check, actually.
I'm a fucking, oh gosh, she fucking dead.
18.
She's got a pulse. Seems to be going steady. Maybe a little weak.
She's been through a lot. Why don't you do some of your magic stuff and heal her?
I did when she got here.
And was she awake when she got here?
Briefly, and then she went to sleep.
Well, like I said, she's been beaten and tortured for God knows how long. She
She
needs some
hasn't
rest.
eaten in days.
It's only been a day.
Since she
how
got
long-
here.
How long's it been?
Since she's been here a day.
A day. Did she eat last night?
No.
Well, I don't know. What's better, having her sleep in a bed and be comfortable, or have her be beaten and tortured for days on end?
You go find Hogan. Hello, yes. What can I do?
You're a good healer, yeah? You can heal?
A little bit. Kind of, scrapes and
Do you
cuts and stuff.
Do you know any, like, healing magics, or...
I can cure your scrapes and cuts and knees and bruises and things like that.
You got a boo-boo?
Like, yes, is somebody injured? I'd be more than happy to help.
Do you know magic?
I know,
Like
I
not
know
just
magic.
healing
Yes,
magic, but like magic in general?
yes, I'm fairly adept at magic.
Come with me.
Oh, all right, where are we going? Confused, Holgan follows you.
He's like, okay, I'm with it.
What's wrong with her?
Let me take a look.
She's dead.
She appears to be sleeping. Has she been like this for a while?
Yep. And then it's been what, a day? Day and a half?
Day and a half.
Yeah, it's been a day and a half. She hasn't eaten.
Have you tried waking her?
Best doctor ever.
Checks her pulse. She's alive.
Wake up.
Hold on, let me try something. You see he waves some magic.
Nope.
Waves his hand, some magic seems to flow out. He goes,
He leans in and screams boo. I'm sorry, I've done everything I can.
seems like she has a curse on her. Sleeping curse. Powerful. I'm not sure if I'd be able to remove it.
I probably can't either.
Oh, shit. I mean, yes, it could. I'm not going to say...
Oh, when did you get here?
I've been there. I was there.
Yeah, he didn't.
I mean, okay, hear me out, Zari. I know that there's a lot of... Please hear me out. Yes, it could have been from the deal, but you said that she talked when she first came in, yeah?
For like a second. And then she fell, and then I caught her, and then she climbed into bed.
Well, what I'm saying is maybe if they realized that she went missing, So they were able to put something on her. I'm not saying it's not because of the deal, but it could also be from wherever she was held. They could have.
I will say this magic does seem to be fey in origin.
All right, never mind.
I don't have the capability, but you might be able to find help in Adun. They have some skilled healers there. King Bragi is collector of some of the world's finest of everything.
And she needed to eat before then.
We can give her
sure.
paste.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to. She's sleeping. Yeah,
I know.
Okay.
We just need to get to Arrakis, I think.
Oh, okay. All right.
You
Yes.
said Atune? Is that on the way?
No.
Idun.
Adune? Is Adune on the way to Laro Keys?
No.
No.
Is that where you're being dropped off at? No,
Yeah.
that's the...
Yep.
Okay.
At the City of Splendor, Idun.
Okay.
All right. Well, first stop, Larkey's.
Everyone has to be.
Is there anything else I can do?
No.
Okay. All right.
I will spend the next like every hour I'd be like casting haste on like somebody.
Yeah, to help
Working.
speed things along.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For the next 3 hours because I've got
Good deal.
3.
Yeah, you're good.
Tell anybody else what's
No.
happening? No.
No. I only leave my room to go cast haste and then
You guys see, Holgan tells everybody everything.
Yeah?
He doesn't keep a secret. He has no reason to. He goes, I'm so sorry about your friend. Do you think maybe the chef knows something to get some food in her system or anything like that?
I could go ask him.
Yeah, Yenna. I'm so concerned about the. I didn't even know she was on the ship. She's so quiet. Has she been sleeping very long like that? And he describes poetry.
Don't believe that's any of your business, Hogan.
Sorry, I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to be of service. I will mind my business. Just please don't leave me here. He hurriedly walks away.
I'm gonna go to Chef and ask him, like, hey, Chef, you ever tried to feed somebody who's not awake?
You hear in your mind, yeah, they can do that. It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable, but
But they'll be fed at least.
they won't die.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go speak to somebody, and then I'll let you know further details.
Who's not awake? Are we interrogating somebody?
Maybe.
Okay.
And then I'll go quietly knock on Zari's door.
like half open like what?
So, Chef is
That's all you
able.
see.
Chef is able, because that's all you can see. Chef can feed her technically if you want her fed.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Chef walks up to, where's the airplane go?
Come on, poetry.
Tell him no drugs. And
Okay.
if there's drugs in it, I'm dropping them off the ship.
Might wake her up.
Did you want me to see if I can, like, get in there?
Yeah, I guess.
I cast Detect Thoughts on poetry.
Phrasing.
You are there and you don't really sense conscious thought. It's just subconscious dreaming, if you will. But it's not vivid dreams or anything. It's just that state of dream.
So I can tell you she's not, like, it's normal. I'm gonna put it that way. It's not like she's like, oh, my brain hurts or is messed up. I'm getting I'm sleeping thoughts.
Okay.
So at least she's not sleeping in pain, I guess, if that's a condolence. I don't know why she's sleeping to begin with.
Holgan said it was Fae in nature, so I'll give you a guess.
Damn face. Well, Elm didn't specify that he wanted her awake.
Yep. I guess Elm fucked around and we're finding out, so.
So hear me out. We make Elm do another deal to wake her up.
No.
Okay, that's fine. See, I'm talking to somebody at least, right? Alright, I'll go tell Chef no drugs.
You find Chef. Takes him a couple hours over the second day, but he does prepare kind of like a mixture. It looks like an IV bag, but it's kind of a feed bag, and he goes up through her nose and forced down her throat.
Applesauce.
An NG tube, some might say.
Some
No
might
one
say.
might say.
Nasogastric tube.
Some might say. Chef
Only
would.
nerds.
Chef would say that.
She won't
If
have a
only
gag
we had a
reflex if
nurse
she's
on the ship.
unconscious, though. Talking about inserting the tube. Fucking weirdo.
Jesus. Who took it there?
I have
You're
no idea.
saying that if you're sleeping, you don't have a gag reflex, so that you're saying that in Monster House, when the house was sleeping and they still shot the
It's a girl
uvula
house.
with the thing that it wouldn't actually gag?
Would if
Only
you're
girls
there
have
mentally.
gag reflexes when they
But with the
sleep.
curse, I don't think she's there mentally.
Anyway, the party finds
you seen
himself
that
on
movie?
the third day.
Monster House?
On the third day, Poetry is still in this
What the hell?
comatose-like state.
Nope, she's woken up by now.
The
it's 3
ship
days. That's long
is-
enough.
Due to the fact of all of the hastes being cast on the crew from both Zari and Holgan, the ship has been finished up by about midday on the third day, full half day early.
Luckily, you changed the rules, or they would have died from exhaustion.
It's true. No, it's only been three
I don't
days.
know how many times they were casted on it.
Oh, well, no, they don't get the exhaustion from haste. No,
You cast it on separate ones.
different people.
I did make them rest. So
Anyway, you guys see the ship take flight as you're all aboard. It's flying smooth, but as you kind of go to see how everything holds, you can tell that back end of the ship is just kind of shaking and a rocking a lot. Tumbled. And you can see that it's holding together and holding together fairly firm, but there's an uncomfortable racket that seems to be coming from that back area.
We turned the radio up.
Axel
I
begins
just-
playing.
yeah.
Axel and Lute begin playing music very loudly.
Perfect.
Bagpipes are there too.
Bagpipes are there. Holgan's cast animate object on it. It's playing itself. Googly eyes are aflutter.
We're ignoring the check engine light.
Yeah. Over the better part of a full day, you fly, or excuse me, the better part of another full 3 days to fly back to Larrakis. You find yourselves arriving in the skyport.
As we're puttering in the land.
Axel and Holgan completely understand, although there's odd sensation that Holgan doesn't really like talking to Yenna anymore. He kind of seems to walk
Avoid her.
in the other room. One other
she has that effect on people.
One other strange bit is on the last night of flight, Yenna, get a knock on your door.
Hello, come in.
See, opening the door in a robe, Triton woman.
Yep.
I was a bit distracted before, but perhaps if you're still interested,
I don't think believe I've ever catch your name.
Anlin.
Adeline?
Anlin. But that's
Anlin.
close enough. I've been called worse.
Yes, please come in.
She saunters in, closes the door. Anything else for you?
She consumes you praying mantis style.
No, I think I'll just go with it.
What a way to go.
Fade to black. Roll me a wisdom save.
Oh God.
She eats your brain.
Excuse me?
Praying mantis style.
It is a 19.
You have a pretty wild night. You wake up the next morning, rejuvenated in a sense. Very awake, very alert. That's it. You all find yourselves
Trying to
pulling.
mind fuck you too?
You all find yourselves pulling into the skyport at Larrakis.
So glad we got out of there.
Yeah, forests are scary.
That forest. But honestly, yeah, we've had some really bad experiences in forests.
We just had bad experiences in general.
It is now the 20th of Oraton.
I can count on my hand the good places we've been to.
You see that.
Beach.
That's about it.
You see
Greyport
that
was nice.
most of the crew of the Gilded Crane graciously accept everything that you've done and go with Captain Uther to sign contracts. As they had promised, they are intending to work for you for 1 year, no charge, room and board. So as long as you feed them and provide them a safe place to live, they're happy to work for
We're
you.
not
Safe
always,
is a-
yeah, we can't promise safe 100%.
They understand that, but
The life of adventurers.
Axel and Holgen graciously accept everything that you've done and offer that if you have business that they can find their own way from here back to Adun, but would still appreciate the ride because they wouldn't have to pay for it.
We will still take them.
Okay. They say
I'm making
that
that executive decision.
they say that whenever you guys are ready to find them, they will be staying at the Skyport Inn.
Got you.
What do you
I
all
don't
do?
know about you folks, but before I die, I'm gonna go to that city.
Yeah, well, it also sounds like they have some really talented healers there.
I don't know anything about that.
I would find Yenna. I'd be like, can your lady help? The lady here.
Lady Kamara.
Lady Kisil. But we can certainly ask. I don't know. This isn't death, so it won't be taboo. If it is a fey curse, then I think this would be as good a place as any to find some type of help with that. So
I think
So
over
we-
the 3 days, I would have like probably taken on probably her battered and beaten clothes and put like
You mend her. I get it.
I put like like my clothes,
Fresh
on her,
clothes.
Like,
So we have.
You notice that her
She-
clothes are a little snug. Or your clothes are a little
Yeah.
snug on her.
You give her a little bird bath, braid her hair.
use baby wipes to like clean her out.
So we have poetry to ask about. The symbol from the assassin's perch.
Mm-hmm.
The memory from my son. And to find out who this bugbear culture is and how they may have came back. Is there anything I'm missing that we also need to ask about here?
Brain things. Should we tell them about it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially since they travel out.
And yeah, I was gonna say and tell them to. But I don't know. Maybe don't go there for a while.
Maybe let them know that they are in control of a very powerful item. Also, ask about the cult that had the
Yeah.
item.
Yeah, we have
That's
the symbol.
bugbear.
The symbol.
Also,
yeah.
not the stereotype, but elves are super old, so you could probably ask about the books.
Did we not?
Elves are super old.
So
We certainly could.
you guys, I don't think ever mentioned the books the first time around.
I don't think
think your
so.
focus was
Oh,
just
yeah.
on trying to heal Haruk and get answers about Wrath. That being said, the item did not come from the bugbear. It came from the lockbox from the hooded
Yes,
people
that's
on
what
the
I was
Gilded
talking
Crate.
about.
Yep.
Which I didn't know if they were a cult or whatnot.
Just hooded figures. Who knows? They kind of kept to
Probably, yeah.
themselves on the
Do they
Gilded
have
Crate.
daggers?
It's difficult to say. You guys never met them, so
I bet they did.
They seem like the
were
dagger
voices.
they
Voices in
seem
the
like
fucking
cloak and
dark
dagger
woods.
type.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's should we take Holgen with us?
Yeah.
He can describe the cultists better than we could.
Actually, I don't think he wants anything to do with you for some reason.
Well, somebody else ask him then.
Wait, what happened?
So, I don't know if it's just me, but, like, I get the sense that, like,
He's been a little weird.
yeah, like, he's been, like, avoiding Yenna.
I just told him to mind his own business, and apparently he took it literally.
I mean, yeah, I would mind my own
It's-
business.
That's how I meant it, so I'm glad he did.
Okay?
Fair enough.
It doesn't have to be Holgen. It could be somebody else that was on the ship with them. I
I
don't
think Holgen is a
particularly
good
care.
good reporter. He's
the only
well
name I
spoken.
Anlin looks at you, babe.
Wait. Is she signing on the crew?
Yeah, all 5 of those people are signing on to the crew.
So it wasn't just a one night stand potentially.
Sorry,
I'm-
If that
I'm-
was her.
I'm here for the romance.
If that was her, yeah, exactly. If you're Yenna.
Yeah, if I'm me, I don't know. After that night, out of body experience.
Ayo.
So I
Do you
think
find
after-
anybody, or where do you go? What do you do?
After we get the ship checked in at the port, we would head towards.
I'd ask Holgen to join us to.
Holgen kind of respectfully declines. Holgen says, "I would be helpful, but I feel that
trying
I'm
to
kind of
mind my own
limited and
business."
very much trying to allow you to do your business. I do not mean to pry."
You You saw the hooded people, though, and we didn't, so we're...
I would ask one of the crew. They probably know them better than I did. They kind of kept to themselves.
You're like, who am I going to ask?
The Loxodon.
Oh, the stone guy.
He can't talk.
He can talk to her.
I can only talk to her. Anlin, can I go to her?
Yeah.
Did you...
Seconds already?
If only time allowed, dear.
Make time.
Did you get much of a look at the hooded figures with the box on the...
Oh, yes, on the Guild train. They mostly kept to themselves. They paid for higher end quarters. Wanted privacy. They pretty much most of them, fortunately, died on the descent of the crane. The two that did survive, kind of went off right away. One of them was injured, kind of stayed behind, said that he would keep an eye on the box, but when the other two returned, they seemed different. They brought the third one with them, said that they would come back for the rest of us if they felt comfortable, which we didn't. And it was kind of the last that I saw them.
Do they have any distinctive markings on their clothes, or did they talk much?
They kept to themselves mostly, but I will say that it's rather the opposite. It was as if they were intentionally wearing clothes to not be noticed. No symbols on their brooches, no recognizable markers or anything like that. Clothes could have been very simple but elegantly made. No maker's marks or anything like that. I got the impression that they, whatever ill business that they were on, they wanted to keep it to themselves.
We're going to see the lady of the city. She's an old family friend. Would you accompany us to give any insight you might have of those?
As long as you stand in front of me.
Happily.
Go on.
Okay.
Quit flirting with my dad.
I'm
I'll
fucking-
flirt with your dad.
Here for the romance. Your dad is Vienna right now.
Am I blushing?
I'm gonna fuck your dad.
Oh!
This episode, we're not faded to black, baby.
We're going to act out every moment.
Anyway, you all begin sauntering. I mean, walking to... You guys all begin heading to the palace? The estate?
Yep.
The estate of honored guests is where you would head. You reach out to a couple of guards. Luckily, all of you still bear the mark of Lady Kamara.
Maria are holding hands.
You two are holding hands. You guys
You get the feeling they may have made up.
find your way
I
back to
whispered,
the ship.
Zargi, they're fading again.
You guys find your way to the estate, where you are instructed to wait patiently. After a few hours, it's around mid-afternoon, maybe 1 o'clock, you find yourselves in the audience of Lady Kamara Kisil. Hello.
Lady.
Sup, lady?
I kneel. Lady
Please,
Kisil.
please, Yana, rise.
Thank you.
What service may I give you all?
We have multiple questions, but we really need one in particular thing help with.
Anything I can help you all with, I will. Any word on the other information, your son, what he was transporting? She looks at Anlin, looks back at you.
Yes, I promise we'll get to that.
Oh.
But first, we have a loved one and an ally that we fear was held somewhere. We don't know. Tortured, possibly. We starved. She's alive. She has a pulse. She's there, but not. We believe it's Fae involved. And I know they come in and out of here quite a lot.
Faye was... Did you rescue her from perhaps a Fae dwelling or Fae hold, or was she captured by the Fae?
No.
Sealy court, unsealy court? What information might you have?
I don't know all the details, but a deal was struck with the creature. In
Describe,
exchange for something, he made her appear on our ship, and after she appeared, she basically...
can you describe
fell
the
asleep.
creature?
The proprietor.
Elm? Could you describe him?
I'm not familiar with that name.
The procurator. He was a centaur, right?
He was a satyr.
Satyr.
With
That's what I meant to say.
exaggerated features.
Yeah.
Long ear, big pot belly.
Yeah.
The
Mustache
vines growing.
goat. Kind of some like gilded, glittering vines.
I described
That's how he was initially described.
Yeah, I described that, and then I described. Yeah, he said that he could get me her in exchange for a castle.
Sounds like it's Sealy business. Surprised that they would. Perhaps this effect was on your companion. Did your companion have a name?
Poetry.
Poetry. Perhaps this was on Poetry before she was retrieved. My understanding of most Sealies, arrogant creatures typically have supposedly important business that they want to accomplish, but they're, generally speaking, their word is their bond. They don't really twist things around, but usually their ask is quite important. So a castle does seem to fit the bill.
Because, I just asked if she could be brought back here. And apparently she was awake for a second when she arrived on the ship, but then
She was
asleep.
awake when arriving.
She awaked when she arrived, and then she fell asleep.
And was she delivered? Was she teleported? How did she come to be on the ship?
I don't actually know, because she didn't arrive in my room. She arrived in Zari's room, who's currently getting a stress pickle.
Those are for anybody. Please, help yourself. Tensions in this room have gotten high before, and they will again.
Zari's just like picking at her fingers and then describes
How she arrived.
The idea there's just a mini fridge in the corner
Yeah.
of the palace with pickles.
And it's like just plugged in, cord very obviously out and stuff like that. It was a last minute addition.
It was
This
installed since the last time we were here.
Do you like it?
By the way, is it cold? I want to make sure those pickles are cold. Good. No, I must say it seems odd that if she was awake that she would fall into sleep if this were a Sealy dealing. Perhaps whatever identifier you used merely detected the means of transportation. Do you have your friend with you now? Would we be able to see her?
She's on the ship.
Would you like for me to send for her, or is she able?
Sleep.
Would you like to bring her here? I would want to be respectful. We can. I have many guards who'd be able to carry her, or if you prefer to bring her here yourself, we can have a high cleric look at her.
I can walk with the guards.
Very well. You see that she motions over to 6 guards who are kind of out, and they turn to you and follow you and go collect. It's going to take about an hour.
With how muscular Poetry is, she's got to be pretty heavy.
That's why I sent 6 of them.
Good. You're going to need it for that beefcake.
While your friend is being retrieved, is there any other business that I can help you with? I would like to... Did you make any progress on what you were...
We did. We found our way to the temple. And I found his last recordings. His memory vial that I know they are trained in using.
Yes.
It was, without a doubt, an ambush. We saw his death from a sniper above.
The idol, did you see it being taken, or did he have it at that moment?
He had it at the moment of death. He tried to hide it in his last moments, but could not. He passed before he could hide it effectively, and it was not there when we arrived. I did not see it taken.
I see. This figure, did you get any glimpse of it at all? Any bearing markings?
Vaguely. It was a bugbear, but not like we would assume. And the strangest thing,
Do you think it was perhaps a different culture? Maybe somebody from Central there, an assassin hired?
no, because I remember stories my mother told. Elm climbed to the perch where we saw the shot come from and found this symbol. And I'll hand her the marking.
She looks at the Venator.
Yes, my mother told me stories of them, thought long extinct.
Yes,
long extinct.
they should have died out ages ago. They were thought to have been hunted down to extinction before the Dark Age, who would have been sometime in the Fourth Age.
That's why we were hoping you might be able to shed any light on it at all. Why they might be back.
I can reach out to our chief historian. If this is truly the Venator, then a real threat is returned to threaten the Keese people.
There was also something else.
Yes.
I only know the Venator from stories my mother told, so when I was young. We also encountered another force in the jungles.
Really?
It was... There was almost... There was an army, but they were just regular people. They were elves. There was a child, a mother. But they were all...
Elvish.
They were all of one mind.
Did you recognize, were they... I mean, from where you would be, that would be bordering on our lands. There shouldn't be other elves. I mean, there might be other roaming parties, but that would have been somebody from our culture.
Now, the woman that we unfortunately killed as we were defending ourselves, she looked to be from Laranil, a weaver. Laranal, yes.
We have not heard from them for some time. We assumed that perhaps a runner had gone missing, but if they have a weaver from Laranal, then perhaps things are... I must send forces to investigate this matter.
Whatever this is extremely dangerous. Mind control like I've never seen.
Mind control?
People were drawn into the woods and came back,
And
not
they,
themselves. I myself almost fell to it.
You see, she looks over to a servant. Send for the marshal.
And then we killed somebody, and like the brain popped out of their head and was all like, meh!
And they might have possession of a compass that will lead them to whatever they want.
You don't do
How
that.
did you come by this compass? How did you come to be aware of it?
Oh, that's another part of the story. There was a ship that we found. Some people stranded in the woods that told the same stories we saw.
You guys see Anlin just kind of like step forward a little bit.
Anlin was on that ship, and there were a few... The people that procured the ride had this box that had this compass in it. But perhaps she can answer questions better on them than I can.
Forgive me, Your Highness, Anlin of the Analath Confederation. I was working on the Gilded Crane, an airship chartered from Idun heading west. We were beset by large flying creatures. I'm not sure, but they caused our ship to crash, and we were stranded for some time. It seems like weeks. We encountered strange individuals, people who didn't quite seem to act like themselves. They almost wanted to lure us away one by one. There were hooded figures on the ship. Forgive me, I don't know their names. I'm just a crew hand. I did not have access to the register of who was aboard the ship, nor did I think to bring it with when I was rescued. But there were 5 individuals hooded, and they carried a black box, a lockbox. I believe we still have it, but this force that Yenna speaks of, they seem to know about what was in the box. They asked for it directly, asked for a compass, and then she looks at you. And that is what I know. She kind of like takes a couple steps back. how, if you were in possession of the box, how did this force come to be in possession of it? Did they steal it from you? Did they take it? Was there an attack?
We just gave it to him.
They took it by force.
We offered it for our lives. We felt it prudent at the moment.
A wise decision, I would feel, given it seems that they are able to coerce others. It seems like they might, especially if they've gone to Weavers in Laranal, must assume that the city's fallen. Hopefully that is not the case, but...
Not only that, but
You see a heavily armored individual walks in. You see that he removes a decorated helmet, puts it on his face. Your Majesty, you summoned me. Yes, Marshal. Call the banners. Muster our forces. We have business to attend to in Laranal. Investigations to be had, and I fear for the worst. Hope for the best, but I fear for the worst. At once. Bows, leaves.
Am I missing anything?
There's a creature out there eating people's brains, apparently.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Axel's two friends.
Yeah. I think that might. Do you think that connects to the other brain stuff that was going on?
Yeah, maybe.
Given the state of things, I must focus first and foremost on the protection of our people, given that our protection ritual has failed. I fear that we may be in grave danger. If you could see to finding this bugbear, reclaiming this idol, and returning it to the shrine, it is of the utmost importance to our people. That being said, I understand that you came here with ill tidings against the whole world, speaking of the prophecy of our fates, and I will not require it, but I will ask of it of a friend.
We'll think on it.
Please.
There's other things we need to attend to, but I have one more request, if that's all right. We've come across these ancient tomes. We believe they're tied to the prophecy and the reopening. Do we have any knowledge of these ancient books in the libraries or with the clerics?
I do not have any knowledge of this. Perhaps the High Cleric might. If it's at all associated with the prophecy, he would know.
Perhaps when he's completed with poetry, we might get an audience.
You see, some time passes. The High Cleric arrives as well as poetry with the others. You see the High Cleric goes, places a hand on her forehead. It is as I feared. This is a very powerful curse. To break this curse, you must deal with the one who cast it. Only then may it be broken.
What do you mean deal?
You need to find whoever it was who brought her and placed this on her. You said that this was a Seelie Fae? It reeks of unseelie magic.
I mean,
Describe this individual, this procurer.
I describe him, and then I also describe that, like, when I went to make the deal,
How he changed.
he changed.
A common tactic for unseelie, beguilement, betrayal. They do seek to twist words and exploit omissions. It is very... Treating with the unseelie is a very dangerous proposition, but one that can be advisable in the most dire of situations. I hope that whatever situation your friend was in, it merits this incursion. You said he asked for castle. Any idea what that might be? where this might be?
I thought he was referring to Arms Hold.
Arms Hold, isn't that under the possession of Sartell?
Yeah, but he said that we came into possession of a castle.
We have no idea. I mean, to our knowledge, there's still other Mithril Guard out there. And Sartell definitely was never like, hey, I put you guys in my will.
Unless we checked, he was still alive too.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been confirmed dead. That's one thing.
I suspect Elm might be secretly royalty and has a castle he don't know about.
Do you know anything of your lineage?
You don't know your parents. I know part of my parents. Do you know who your parents are?
I have vague memories.
Your parents weren't royalty.
Not that I know. I've never met my daddy, but my mom was a musician.
You see, he kind of has like a... Ooh.
Never met my daddy, but my mama was a
I have to say, 4 out of 5 of you have unknown lineages that might make tracking down perhaps noble blood a little bit more difficult.
Jenna,
What I would suggest...
you're royalty.
Are
You knew both
Wait,
your
are
parents.
you elven royalty? We didn't ask.
You concretely know your parents didn't have a castle.
No castles.
No
in
rich
my-
uncle.
What I
Sorry.
would say is investigate your assumption. See if perhaps there. I don't know. Unseelie Fae, especially all Fae, are tricksters. They're chaotic in nature. They love disorder and randomness and wild magics and the like.
They would love us.
I would say
Sorry.
investigate the place where your assumption holds. Maybe there was something. I will say that they will not break their own rules. They may twist them, but if they say that you own a castle and they want it, then they are legally trying, not legally, but they are trying to, through arcane law, attain it from you. So I would check there. It's possible that he's maybe a material plane castle. Perhaps he's trying to open another portal, something to gain more clout or access. But it is difficult to say.
Our thing is, Sartell was a powerful man with powerful allies, and we don't know what all was in that castle.
Well,
That
everything
whole-
was cleaned out.
That we know of.
that we know of.
Everything in the vault was cleaned out.
What if there was a basement to the vault?
I don't know. Gods, demons. Maybe there's something in the inner depths of it
I
that this thing wanted.
cannot say. From my memory, what I've known about Sartell is that he opened an adventuring guild and sought to do good. But I've never met him, nor have I met very many Mithril Guard. But everyone I have encountered seemed to be of a noble sort. I would say, in reference to the books that you seem to be inquiring about, I am not aware of any books in the possession of our families or location of any, but there are in the histories rumored books long passed down since the ages before. 9 tomes that might be able to recall Alakath to the mortal plane.
Those would be the ones.
I can only tell you that I know of their existence, but I can only assume that the people of the past would have scattered them if they had a choice, and considering that Alakath and his ilk were sent into hiding and put into the crevices of the plains, that they must have had the upper hand somehow. How is it that you come to be knowledgeable of these books? Investigation of the prophecy, perhaps?
It was Sartell, actually.
Technically, we've come into contact with two of them.
We came into contact with two
of them.
But Sartell was the one who originally put us on the mission of obtaining them.
That's because we originally stumbled across one.
Yes, and then he explained what it
Yeah.
was. We entrusted it
To him.
To him. And then we went to further look for a lead for another,
And
but
then he got it stolen.
that was a different book, right?
Yeah. It's the one that Courage took.
Courage took. It was a separate book. So
Courage
Sartell was supposed
Courage
to have
took
one.
the book from a worm.
Uh-huh.
You had given the book from Humbleton to Sartell that he had kept in the safe,
And he got it stolen.
and the safe was
Was emptied
robbed,
out.
was emptied out, as far as you know.
Yeah. Fucking Sartell. Can't even keep something you give him.
I cannot ignore the coincidence of two fabled books of Alakath's Return being seen in a matter of a single year. I cannot discount that as mere coincidence.
Do you think it could be linked to the prophecy?
Roll a history check.
7.
Even with a 7, you vividly remember 6 days ago when everybody was being bombarded with messages. Marius saying that the prophecy is a distraction. The real focus needs to be on the books, as if they were two separate entities.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say there was never no prophecy, and it's just mumbo humbo jumbo.
I find it hard to believe that the Mithril Guard and Sartell, they were so gung-ho on getting these books back. And then all of a sudden there's this prophecy, we're split up and picked apart. And whoever is wanting these books somehow got the book from Aram's Hold as well.
Mm-hmm.
As you laid out the facts, to me it seems like there's intent with that. The greatest adventurers guild that has ever really been, as far as we've known, is eliminated and raided, and then the survivors are picked apart.
Painted as bad
Amazing
guys.
state.
That doesn't
Yeah.
that doesn't sound like coincidence. That sounds like intent, like a plan.
Is there anything in the library that would do us any good to read to help guide us as we
Towards these
continue
books,
this?
no. I've read extensively through the library. I've gone through many of the volumes, and especially since you've mentioned the prophecy. But as far as the location or anything, no. The only thing that it has is the description of what they would look like, which, having come into contact with two of them, I feel that you would be aware. Forgive me, there is business that my people need. But with that, I am sorry I cannot help you, friend. But what I can do, and you see that he places a hand on her, and you see this arcane and divine webbing kind of spread around her as if she's in this large eggshell.
Power word kill.
I can put her out of her misery.
She's not sleeping, she's dead. Move on. No.
The whole city's in war now because Zara's.
There's other fish in the sea.
Have you tried that Triton lady? She looks hot. Anyway, no. He places this arcane, divine arcane webbing spreads around her. She should be fine. This will help sustain her. It's the most that I can do. But it will not rouse her from her slumber. I wish you luck. With that, I leave you. Best of luck in your endeavors.
Zero will guide you. Thank you for your
And sir, I'll guide you as well. He hop skips away.
Have you tried kissing her?
I don't think it works like that.
I read a book one time.
It doesn't hurt to try.
I mean, look what... Yeah, I mean, stuff happens all the time.
I flutter my wing and put element. Sometimes prayers can be heard.
The books.
Mm-hmm.
The last one was with the creature of legend.
Do we
Well-
need to find another creature of legend?
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe some great protector.
You guys remember a large compendium of books, one of which was loaned to you. The Legends and Myths of Theran
Yeah.
by Bartholomew Alexander Magdamius Ferenc.
And Zari has said book.
And you know who I bet has a very extensive library?
I'll explain later.
On Bartholomew.
Maybe we
Focus.
Yeah, I was trying to do
can
that.
tap into their resources here and cross-check if there's any creature of legends that are tied to when Alakath was imprisoned.
That's true. It's also been forever, but didn't you talk about some vampire that was looking for a book?
That's what I was trying to say in the meeting, but the guard showed up and I was like, I'll drop it. But there was, when we got the book from Humbleton, we went chasing after this vampire who was also looking for the books, who had a brother who I think we ended up killing.
Yeah. Well,
I think he
And
was dead.
He was already dead.
I'm
You
thinking.
You hear June come in and he's dead.
I'm thinking. Is it
Does-
easier
does
to
But
find
she
June
was,
come in?
she was,
book, or is it easier to find a
Bum, bum,
person that's
bum,
also
bum.
looking for a book?
we tried to find the person looking for the book and we came up on a dead end.
It has been a while.
Like a completely dead end, and that is why we were forced to take a different route, because we had nothing to go on.
Can always go
I
back and see
think-
Argos. Take care
So,
of his little sea dragon problem.
so to be clear, you guys you discovered this book in Humbleton in an old tomb of
The
an
hero.
ancient relative of Matthias and the Heracles family. In that tomb, there was signs of somebody breaking into it and breaking some seals underneath the actual sarcophagus that housed the hero. After that, there was a strange mist that seemed to be appearing all around Humbleton and causing individuals to go mad. And Alexander was affected. He was the son of Demeter, one of the agricultural leaders. You went and you were encountered by Saloon Kal, this vampiric woman. However, you got the impression from what Sabine had described was that she didn't really seem to be a well-experienced vampire, because he discovered her hiding under the carcass of a cow. You also remember that when you tracked her down to a tower a few about 2-3 weeks away from Humbleton, that there was a journal that was left behind from her brother explaining that they had been searching for a number of these different, or there was a map with a number of these different things. One of those places on the map was where the worm was. One of them was Humbleton. Humbleton had a check mark. There was a question mark next to the worm one. Then there were several others with X's and question marks. You also get the sensation that they were working and had some connection to the Shadow Syndicate.
Wasn't that what poetry was working on too?
Yep, and yep, that's what Kothir, the lizard folk guy from Wormshold.
Kothar.
Kothar.
Kothar was discovered to have been directly connected, working with.
Who was directly working with
Right.
Rhea
Do we
once.
once
Allegedly.
allegedly? Do we still
I don't
have
know, just remember
Saloon's journal? I thought we gave that
thought-
You
Okay.
gave that.
to Sartell.
You gave that to Sartell.
So they have.
Well, it's unsure of what was collected or not. You guys saw the vault itself was cleared out. Now, reasonable to expect that Sartell would have put the book there, as the book is a very powerful, interesting, and specific thing. However, the journal, aside from having information, Sartell, who admittedly was fascinated by these books and a devout investigator of these books, who knows if he would have hid that away or maybe reading it himself.
Sounds like
Fuck.
we need to go back to Wormswood.
We
Yep.
have to go to Sartell's office.
You also know that he was working with Lady Selma Seamaker.
Didn't we?
I thought we searched his office.
flip his
though.
office?
Yeah.
We rolled really low with our
I also
investigations.
wasn't looking for Saloon's
Was that
journal.
mean?
What?
She said
Oh.
we rolled low for our investigation. Said, what does that mean?
Yeah, all we found was a bunch of acid.
Yeah, but like I didn't check every book in the book in his bookcase and stuff. I wasn't.
You
looking-
did look
Everything
in
on
his.
the book
You
house
did
was
look in his
destroyed.
safe, which had a note that says, "What will you do now?"
All the books on the bookshelf were destroyed by the traps we set off. So if it was there, it's not there anymore. At least the
someone
bookshelf.
knew what they were looking for,
Seems that way.
and they have a head start.
Big one.
You get the. Everybody roll an intelligence check.
I say
Okay.
we just
Are you
forget about all
smart or
this
Are you dumb? Beach?
and just go to the beach. And
Hey, the apocalypse was coming, guys, which means the world's ending. So let's
Somebody
beach.
else.
Let's beach party.
18.
So straight intelligence.
Who?
Was it a saving throw? Or
No, just a check.
5.
6.
12.
No memento.
I don't know if you get above 15.
Yes.
What'd
I'm
you get?
-1.
What'd you get?
17.
18.
The three of you are seeing a lot of puzzle pieces and a lot of questions, and you're trying to figure out, we need to find these books. We need leads on these books. Where can we find them? How can we get them? The two of you think to yourselves, okay, if they're working with the Shadow Syndicate, they're not doing it of their own volition, most likely. They're doing it for somebody.
Yeah.
So at least there's a place where you can check for answers or try to find some. The Shadow Syndicate. And they, well, no, I won't say anything else. Everybody roll another investigation or intelligence check.
Why don't you go ahead and
Above
keep talking?
15.
I think they're
20?
They're in Dane, aren't
Probably.
they?
Can I get advantage for my history with them?
I got a 19.
Yes.
I got
22.
19, 22, 20. 6.
13.
13. The two of you are trying to figure out, because I think you both say, like, maybe the Shadow Syndicate has answers. You're thinking about your connection with Dane. You're thinking about your mother and everybody that you've encountered in the Dane. You remember that specifically there's somebody, the Dragon of Dane. That was the boss of Dane. Maybe the Dragon of Dane. You guys are going down that line. With the three of you, you think the Shadow Syndicate are looking for books. They're shady. They don't want people knowing what they're doing. They're well funded. They're well connected. They orchestrated the attack on the Central Theran government. Who's to say they wouldn't maybe have access to or knowledge of a compass? And maybe they would send some people to collect a compass, but they would want to make sure it was secure. So they give them a box to keep it very secure, and you hold on to the key so that nobody else can get in. And you guys make this connection that maybe those 5 hooded figures, maybe they were working for the Shadow Syndicate. Maybe they were delivering that compass somewhere.
Yeah, and Poetry was investigating it, and she was with Egon Marsk, so...
And you remember that they were delivering it. They were heading to Tolmac. Through the
Or,
Gilded
hear
Crane.
me out, somebody wants us to think it's the Shadow Syndicate, and they're just pinning it all on the Shadow Syndicate.
Don't make things confusing.
So you think?
Loot things. Nope.
Nope.
Just nope.
Do I know of a known, like, meetup location in Tolmac that, like, the Shadow Syndicate frequents or anything?
Brinloft Imports and Exports.
We can just walk right
The
in
Wolf's,
there, right?
Wolfsbane. That's
Yeah.
that's the place that you know. You didn't
That I
even
know.
you don't even really know, like, you discovered after the fact that that's what Wolfsbane was trying to get access to.
Yeah.
They're trying to prove themselves worthy of being included in this organization.
And I like know whispers and like the notoriety of it, but
You know whispers of it and know like, oh, you see this symbol, you shut the fuck up because these people don't mince words and they don't have patience.
do we have to go back to Dane?
You know that Poetry was specifically investigating the Shadow Syndicate in Tolemac,
Yeah,
and
with
that
Egon Marsk.
and they were orchestrating a lot of the stuff.
I feel like
Do
we
we
need to
know
wake
what-
her up.
Do we know where they were meeting?
So how are we gonna wake Poetry up?
We
Is
gotta go
the
to Worm's Hold.
question.
How do we? What's that Orm's hold to wake her up?
Yeah.
The Fey guy.
Are we sure
We're
he's
assuming.
there?
We're assuming.
It's our only lead on
Can't
him.
we summon him? We don't have to go to him.
I have a feeling now that the deal's been struck, it won't come.
Hello.
We can certainly try, but
I mean, he's made a deal with me. He hasn't made
I
a
mean,
deal
I
with you
think he
guys.
wants
he's
things.
got what he's wanted.
I mean, we have a lot of things.
I mean, it's worth a try before we drive all the way to Orm's Hold.
Because what are we gonna do? Threaten him when we
Yeah,
get
what
there?
are we gonna do?
And if he likes to, I mean, we could, for one, before we waste.
Are we gonna kill him?
Before we
Is that the
waste
plan?
Can we kill him?
I'm listening.
Before we waste the trip, I mean, let's figure out what castle he did take. I'm sure he wants to flaunt whatever one it is. I'm sure he's tricky, but he seemed to really be a possessive kind of guy.
I know I say this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make a deal with the devil.
How about we scry on the devil? I mean, the Fey man.
I mean, you can try. He might have magic up, so you wouldn't be able to see him.
It's worth a shot.
We can
'Cause
also
I have
just try
to-
calling him.
Or
That's
we could,
true.
Can't we scry on a location? Can't we scry on Arm's Hold and see if he's there?
Oh, yeah, you can definitely scry on a location, yeah.
I can?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I couldn't.
Then
No,
just
you can.
scry on Arm's Hold.
If we're going to call him, we need to have a plan.
'Cause
Something
we
to
have-
offer.
Maybe this is the new scrying.
lift-
But
No,
it's-
scrying is a creature.
Yeah, it says
Only
a
a creature.
Because we've looked into it before.
Yeah.
That's why I said him. I don't want to scry on him, nor would he be my first choice, but he's the only one that I know that's at Orm's Hold, unless we want to go all the way to Orm's Hold.
We could definitely try calling him, but we definitely, like Anna said, have to have a plan first.
Yeah.
Now, how are we going in there is my question. Is it like a, hey, you know, you want to make a deal, wake up Poetry, or hey, wake up Poetry or else?
I don't know if we have an or else, because
Remember the High Cleric said that he needs to be dealt with before the curse can be broken, implying he needs to be eliminated.
Oh, we
Okay,
have to
I didn't
kill
know
him?
how you meant deal with.
Oh, I didn't either.
Well,
The cleric should have been more
that is
specific.
the impression, but open to interpretation. Perhaps you can break the deal or willingly get him to relinquish the deal. But
I feel like if he willingly breaks the deal, he's just gonna send her right back.
Sounds like we gotta kill him.
How do you kill a fey creature?
Or go
I
make
assume
another
the
deal.
same way you kill any creature.
If it bleeds, it dies.
Let's figure out more about who this procurer is if we can.
Didn't we kill like a legendary giant worm? And you're asking us how are we gonna kill a guy that makes deals?
How are we going to trap him here?
I
We
think
attack
could
him,
take
he
on
bamfs
Wayne
away.
Brady.
He bamfs away.
No, now since I know we have to kill the guy,
Uh-huh.
we obviously go to Orm's Hold now. Because, you know, that's its house.
Well, we don't
We
know if that's
assume.
his house.
We
Don't know
assume.
that for sure.
And if we get there and we're like, motherfucker, this is ours, and then somebody shows up like, hey, you made a deal, this is mine. And he might not even let us in.
Well, also, you've really gotten me thinking now. If it's not that,
roll thought damage. I'm just kidding.
First time ever.
and I don't know.
What if
Uh-huh.
we summon him
Mm-hmm.
and then try to kill him?
And then he bamfs away.
No. You said that now that you know we have to kill him,
Mm-hmm.
we can do something about it. I've seen you counter magic before and hold people in place. Would it work on him?
Maybe.
Well, the problem is if
Do Fae have weaknesses?
It's extremely risky because if he does get away,
Then
he's not
he's
going
not
to
gonna-
come back, and then we have no hope.
I know, that's why I'm saying we need to do our research.
well, I mean,
We need an upper
He gave
hand.
us a
Is
spruce.
there any books here in the library about the Fae?
That's what I'm saying. We're somewhere where like they have a history of dealings with the Fae.
Right, like
what
is there a way
happens
to
when
trap the Fae? Like a ring of salt
Well,
or
sometimes it's
something?
pretty simple. He gave us a
Or
shrub
raisins.
for our table, so maybe just to wake her up is something smaller. I don't know.
No, but then we need to. If we're going that route, we would need to talk about what are the bargaining chips. What are we willing to bargain? What would he get out of it? And
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
how could he twist the words? That might be the easier, but that might be the trickier option because then,
Hey, we ain't smart.
like, that sounded great. We got poetry back. She's in a magic coma. So what I'm saying is, if we make another bargain
wish I was in
and
a
it has a
magic
caveat,
coma.
then we're in this loop of trying to fix deals.
So we gotta kill it.
I need a drink.
Right away, sir.
I don't know if alcohol really helps thinking.
It does.
You've never had enough.
You ever
When you
think
drink
so hard
enough,
your head
everything
hurts?
is a great
I just need
idea.
to numb this a little bit. I'm
A couple of the
feeling
guards turn to
too
you and
much.
say, if you would like, we'll return poetry to the ship.
Uh-oh. I just seen smoke come out of Elm's ears.
So it can only trade in things that are a part of you, yeah? It could only give away what was ours?
Huh?
Courage was a part of you.
But he's not anymore.
I don't want him to be owned by anybody. To use as like a weapon.
He-
'Cause
He's being used as a weapon right
he's
now.
already a problem.
Yeah, but they're separate entities. She can't, like, I can't give you away, can I?
I don't
I
know.
wouldn't.
I'm just saying that they used to be one and the same.
Give you 5 gold for him.
Deal!
Hey!
Deal.
That might eliminate a problem.
Make
That
it
would
a
be
worse problem.
You could say
bigger.
you could say you give him he could make him a servant for the castle.
How do we feel about kittens being eaten?
How were they prepared?
Medium rare.
Yeah, it's fine.
He did want a kitten. So maybe I promise one of Nimbus's children?
I mean,
Gone full deal with the devil. All right, my first, second, and third born child.
I mean, how many kittens do they have in a litter?
I don't know.
Typically, you look at them and you see how many they can feed, and then you divide that in half.
we'll trick them, right? We'll give them Yenna's next born child.
And she's not going to have any more kids.
Right!
How do you know that?
Menopause.
Yeah,
Wait,
You're like 300, Yenna. You plan on having kids again?
Well,
starting all over at your old age.
Too soon, fuckers. Too soon.
I'm sorry. I assumed like you're still grieving your dead husband and you're all like, oh, it was the greatest thing ever to die and see him. I didn't realize you were moving on.
Yeah, Yenna.
You want to start a
Do
family?
you want kids? Is this something we should talk about?
I think we should.
Not with you.
Maybe we shouldn't bargain like her reproductive organs though.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
Okay, bargaining chips.
My body, your choice.
We were just assuming.
All right, Nick, calm down.
Why don't
He
we
did
get...
want Elm's drugs. He give him Elm's drugs.
He said he was going to take a part of me. I didn't feel right like bargaining myself.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's valid.
I said
valid.
no to.
Are we still going to transport these people to the City of Splendor?
Oh, I am 110%.
Yes.
And I'm a man of my
Why
word.
don't we get on the way doing that? We can discuss plans.
We've already left and
After
are in
that.
the air, making our way that way.
I thought
Okay.
we were still in the
You're still in the
guest
city.
quarters.
I think we've debriefed a lot. I agree. Let's go have a fucking drink. Get in the air. And have a drink if you want. I want.
Final decision is leaving for Dune.
Leaving for Dune. And we're all gonna think on
Yeah.
plans.
All right. we'll end tonight's session with you transporting Poetry back to the ship. Instead of your bed quarters, she's been given her own kind of set up space in one of the private guest cabins.
EKG monitor and everything.
Beep.
You see that the crew is ready. Everything is signed. The cost has not gone up for you guys. For the ship, looks like some repairs have been made. It's about 90% complete from what you can tell, but it definitely seems better than what it was. The captain does assure you that next time they make port, they can finish the repairs anywhere.
Before we head out, I will contact Muriel and let her know that if she still wants, we are heading there, and if she would like a ride, she's more than welcome to.
I was hoping he was going to forget.
You
Muriel,
thought he was gonna forget.
I thought he was going to forget.
Of course not.
Muriel meets you as you contact her on the way back to the ship. You all see the familiar face of Muriel as you all board the ship, leave port, and head off for Dune. It is a good, I want to say it's like 10 days. Let's take a look here.
You just realized something.
What?
Your girlfriend's on the ship. Her baby girlfriend is on the ship.
Your
Her
girlfriend's on the ship?
His girlfriend's on the ship.
Orgy party.
This show is about love.
Do you love me again?
The Love Boat.
She's not my girlfriend, thank you.
This is like The Bachelorette.
Yeah, it's about 9 days of
She's
travel.
not my girlfriend.
She could be.
We
I mean,
will
she could.
pick
You want her
up-
to be.
I mean,
We will pick up on the 29th of Oraton. You guys just burned through 19 days.
Damn.
the
It's almost your
29th of
birthday.
November.
The whole time
It is.
that we're on the ship, sorry, it's like in that room with Poetry, like sleeping in the chair, like
Yeah, we're gonna
uncomfortable the whole time.
any RP stuff that you guys have, we can do. Otherwise, we're just gonna fast forward to arriving at port.
Yeah.
Good deal. With that, thank you for watching. We really appreciate your views and everything. If you enjoyed our show, give us a like, give us a subscribe, check us out on YouTube, check us out on TikTok and all the other social stuffs. And with that, have a good night.
See you next Tuesday.
Avita
See
Sam.
you
Avita
later.